On the breakfast this morning, as the power sector continues to grapple with daunting challenges that have stunted its growth, the federal government's takeover of struggling distribution companies is also on the table. We're looking at this takeover and, of course, the implications for the Nigerian economy.
Also on the breakfast, Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola says the worsening insecurity in the nation is on a temporary basis, even as security challenges spans over a decade. We'll have a look at the headlines on the front pages of today's national dailies as we analyze the biggest stories of the day. All these ahead on the breakfast this morning. It's a brand new day. We're back with the breakfast on Plus TV Africa, reaching live from the studios of Victoria Island in Lagos, right here on Plus TV Africa. My name is Kofi Bartels. Good morning to you. And I am Mercy Popo. Beautiful morning, and thanks for joining us. As always, we start off our top trending conversation with the issues that are making the rounds in different spaces and generating different reactions. But yesterday, it's quite, engaging. I mean, you want to talk about the social media space, very, very engaging, mostly for Twitter, because I mean, if you talk about all of this, Twitter is always, on top of the list in terms of reaction and all of that. So yesterday on the top trending this morning is that you have guests ushering Peter Obi into a wedding reception. Apparently he was in Lagos and for a wedding reception, right? Some people say that he was actually mobbed. Yes, he was mobbed when he, appeared or showed up at that wedding reception. And the things that actually stood out was the fact that when he was at the venue for the reception, first of all, you have the MC of the Master of Ceremony recognizing his presence. And following that, a song was being played. Now, this song that was played is a song that's very popular, or some people would say it's attributed to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is the presidential flag bearer of the All Progressive Congress. And so he was ushered in with that song, on your mandate, we shall stand on your mandate. Well, at this point in time, a lot of persons said that the song was played without Bola's name. Usually when they play the song, they don't sing.
How is this song? How is this song?
Well, the song is...
So our listeners understand, on your mandate
we shall stand. On your mandate we shall stand. Bola, on your mandate, on your mandate. I don't know why are you making me sing.
No, I just still get.
No, but that's how it's done. So apparently,
on your mandate we shall stand. Okay, on your
it's
mandate we shall stand.
Kofi,
on your mandate. Bola, on your mandate.
Yeah,
Bola, on your mandate. We shall stand.
So the reason...
Clap for me. I sing well. Come on.
No, come on.
So you're saying they sang this song without the Bola?
I'm saying that. See, me, I'm actually reporting what actually happened and all of the
observations. Of course, that's why I'm asking
because
you.
Because it's not there. Now, so the song was actually, did you say it was Google?
Go on.
Now, the song was actually sung. I mean, it's part of the observation of the entire process, and a lot of people, had reacted differently to all of that. When he arrived, it was because first, there was a recognition by the Master of Ceremony, and prior to that, that song was being played, and, a lot of persons cheered to it. Song, but at this point it was sung without his name, because usually when you have the gathering of the
song
APC,
for Obi.
That's what is being said.
We should go listen to so we get it. Listen.
No, I'm not sure we can actually listen to it because the audio, but really it felt like, he was actually hijacked. But apart from that, it's the fact that some persons had mentioned that his security detail is another thing. It's a lot of concern about, his security detail and the fact that he's very accessible. I mean, if you look at the screen right now, you can see that everyone from, in front, beside, behind him, and everywhere, he was being surrounded. And everyone wanted to take a picture with him. But for me, it doesn't necessarily translate to any other thing, right? I know that a lot of people, some persons have reacted and saying, hey, he's getting a lot of popularity. He's very popular and what have you. But on this particular, no, I would say that, yes, this is a good thing that he's been recognized, been welcomed. But does it translate to, the vote itself, because if you also remember,
I think we can listen to that from down here.
So I think I did a great job singing that song.
Was this in Lagos? Because that will even take the so-called,
Of course,
for want of a better word, scandalous nature of this to another level.
Well, I can't really ascertain whether this was in Lagos, but it happened at the same time.
Amazing.
Where you also have the NBA conference, and it felt like he was around. He attended the wedding, and then you had the NBA conference as well because it had a similar energy.
Well, it's an interesting time to be alive, to see some of the drama playing out in Nigerian politics, and this song, of course, is very known as Bola Ahmed Tinubu's political song, because everybody has, at least major politicians. For you to be a major politician in this country who has followers, you should have a song that people can identify you with. In River State, for Henson Wiki, people think is as they paying them, you go they sweet us. As they sweet us, you go they paying them. That's what people think it is. But that's not wicked. But wicked song is wicked they come oh, wicked they come oh, wicked they come oh. You no go agree, you must agree, oh.
No, but
so when that song came out and people were like, is it by force, But anyway, that was it. So it shows for me. It shows that if you must be, it's politics 101 in Nigeria, and politics 101 have, amongst other things, have a song. Have a song.
You have a song.
Yeah, but I think we can say, in case the Baptists or Baptites are offended at this, like the supporters of Bola Ahmed Tinubu are called, I'm sure they can understand that Obi did not request for this song. He didn't say, give me a special number. It was just sung. I don't think it was planned. And the bands, the musicians in this campaign are really interesting to see. They are shaping out to be an interesting component of the 2023 political discussion. If Wike goes out to give a speech, for instance, he has to he'll have a commissioning project and all that. If he says something, the band will reecho it with a song. If he says, I'll go after my enemies, I'll leave my enemies and go after those of you who took contracts from me, I'll pursue you. They'll sing a song, something. We will go after you.
But Kofi, you want to also agree with me?
I think Mr. B should think about employing the services of a band. If he can't, I will help him negotiate with the Wiki band to get him something similar.
No,
so
but
on
the other hand, if you look at the music industry, we talk about a remix. So it probably might just be a remix because the original version of that song goes with, the name of the presidential flag bearer of the All Progressive Congress. Now, the fact that his name was actually omitted, you can actually say, I'm sure that if you call Davido, they understand what a remix is.
No.
This
is not a remix. So this is
so it was just
this
a
is
remix.
just simply saying that we are, for those who sang that song, they're probably saying that we are not going with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we are going with you. So it's just a message, I'm sure, to Bola Ahmed Tinubu to say.
I'm saying. That it's
to
a
say we're not taking you. We don't want you. Rather, this is the person we want. But it's one band, it's one event. The elections will come and go, and will come, and people have the chance to vote. This is part of the gamesmanship, or let me say, part of the drama in the political season. But let's move on. And we have another video. The former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, Mercy had when he received Jagaban Bogo Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in his residence at the Obasanjo Presidential Library. He said to Tinubu that Tinubu had added some words to the political vocabulary, Yoruba political vocabulary. He talked about Emiloko, number one. He talked about Eleyi, number two. Then Olule, I think was one of the other ones, Olule. And a video surfaced on social media, got a lot of tongues wagging. This is a video clip that shows the publisher of This Day newspaper and also the owner of Arise Television, Ndukok Bagbana, who himself has been quite linked with politicians in the past. So that thing is there. The controversy. Some people believe he's a member of the People's Democratic Party. He was seen in a video with the Sokoto State Governor, and the occasion was the reception of his mother's burial over the weekend, and therefore I had to definitely go out. I had to go out to Ndukok Bagbana over the death of his mother. May God comfort his soul, rather comfort him and give his mother a peaceful rest, in his bosom. That being said, they had some fun. They were singing a song, and it got to a point, the microphone was handed over to Nduka Obagbena, who was praising, you have to praise sing Yoruba, for instance, you praise sing your guests and all that. So I was singing the praises of Aminu Tambuwal, former Speaker of the House of Reps and current Governor of Sokoto State. He talked about the fact that Tambuwal has been he's a governor, he's a former presidential aspirant, and blah blah blah. But he said some other things that I think you should listen to yourself if you've not watched this video already. So let's roll that tape. We'll be right back. I've listened to people, say, oh, it's politicians are just catching crews, they're just on seriously. There's people who are ruling this country. First of all, Ndukok Bagbena is not a politician. I don't think he has elected into any role. But Mercy, this is what played out. I'll take your thoughts before I come in. What do you think about this? I mean, do you think that it shows how unserious some of the leaders in this country are? Because I saw Tambuwal having a good laugh. Though Tambuwal was doing, shaking his hand and saying, no, I don't agree with that, but that's what transpired. Interesting.
Well, so for me, necessarily, I mean, it's actually a burial, right? It's a funeral, and there's always something about a funeral that we're supposed to be reflecting. You expect that people should be very sober and all of that. That, for me, that would be the expectation, that people who gather, whether or not it's, because, in the context now would be, oh, she has lived 100 years. I really don't know how old his mother is, but a funeral is a funeral. And in the house of, if you go to a mourning house, it's a mourning house. So one would expect that those who are gathered in the mourning house would be reflecting, they would be in that, mood where they are being sober, and then they are pondering. Mourning tears is what you expect, at the funeral house. But basically,
you use the word sober.
People are supposed to be sober.
In a sober mood, in terms of the temperament.
I mean, the context. I mean,
yes,
so for different events now. If I show up for a wedding, we know it's a celebration.
Okay, I get you.
If you show up for, a funeral, you're expected to be very sober.
Yeah,
in most cases,
for
all of those who have very high tastes in terms of fashion, it's expected that you drop it down. Less of makeup. Just there. Whether or not, whatever the case is, you wear black dresses and outfit, what have you? Just in that particular, there's no merriment where, there's a funeral. But I understand that a lot of persons will say there's a celebration of life, especially where the person who's dead had lived for a very long time. Let's even say she's lived like 100, plus the fact that she lived a good life on earth, right? But should we understand what a funeral, because it sounds like, having a party. For me, I wouldn't really expect that would be, the situation. It should be the person who's dead at this point in time now.
the focus would be about her. But of course, you can look at the table and you see that there's a lot of liquor that's on the table. Anything can happen.
Okay. Oh, really? You saw some liquor there?
Yes, liquor on the table. Anything can happen.
I saw water.
You saw water, I saw liquor.
Okay.
Don't worry.
All right. So you're saying they're in high spirits.
Of course.
That's
and,
why,
and anything
that's
can
why
happen.
maybe
They can
the
be
use of the word
excused.
sober may have been substituted, in your, But anyway, I see food, I see water. I see.
You're not looking properly now.
I see
Coffee
black
look
water
well.
bottle. Mercy, let's be fair to this gentleman. Tambuwal is a Muslim. I'm sure Nduka is either Christian or he practices something. They just have water there. But this is to me it's the word lule is taken from I'm sure Tinubu's statement, a speech, and lule simply in Yoruba is loosely translated to mean you've fallen down or you fell down flat in here. So I'm sure in singing the praises of Tambuwal who graced that event, and the musician with the mic came in and gave him something to say. This is his mother's burial. When I buried my parents and people came around, they tried to make me happy. So it's sort of like a game being played there of let's just have fun. People are allowed to have fun. People are allowed to have, wherever they are, whatever they do, whatever position they have, they're not carrying a rock on their head. They're allowed to have fun. Let's give them a break. They're allowed to have fun, okay? And I'm sure when Wike and his friends gather, sometimes they have fun too. They shouldn't read too much into it. I'm sure Mr. Wike would have a laugh. He will have a laugh at this and move on, because he is in that space and he understands that this is just something harmless. It's just having some fun. So Lule, it simply meant that Tambuwal was the one who made Wike fall down flat by his stepping down at the PDP presidential primary. He stepped down and said he supports Atiku, and that may have dealt the death stroke to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm sorry, to Nyesom Wike at the primary. So it's just some people having fun. It's a burial, nothing more there for me.
Well, I'm sure that in the course of having fun, let's not even forget about humanity. But I know that the person of, Nyesom Wike is not that will probably get to him, and he would actually feel any type of way.
Let's not be too uptight.
If it's actually no, it's not a problem. I mean,
Didn't
because
you have a
I'm
laugh?
not even.
You don't laugh.
No, come
You
on.
laughed, right? Didn't you
Well,
have a
my point
laugh?
is here. My point here is. Nyesom Wike might not even be feeling anything. That's it. Because he looks like a tough person. But we're just saying that, in the course of everything, as much as you are actually out there, it's expected that, Kofi, that everybody expected you behave in a certain way because you're actually out in front of the faces of the person.
To me, it was just cracking jokes.
Moving away from that, we also have making the rounds. Atiku will be speaking or to speak at the NBA annual conference, and that was the reason that actually played out was because this is 62nd annual conference of the Nigerian Bar Association. It's an annual event, and it was reported that 4 leading presidential candidates would have been confirmed for their availability. Invitation was actually sent out to 4 of them. But unfortunately, out of 4, 2 of them confirmed their availability at the annual conference. I mean, this conference is going on. And the theme for the conference is that it talks about democratic transition in the 21st century, Nigeria and beyond. Now, these speakers, according to the NBA Technical Committee on Conference Planning, had sent invitation to 4 of the leading candidates. As you can see, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is the flag bearer of the All Progressive Congress. You have the likes of Peter Obi. He's also of the Labour Party, flag bearer Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who's also of the People's Democratic Party, and Rabiu Kwankwaso, who is also of the NNPP. But unfortunately, 2 of them were not available. And I'm sure that's why, that reaction was actually put out there. 2 of 4 leading presidential candidates were not available. Those who were available, you have the likes of Atiku Abubakar and Obi. Of course, Shatima was also represented, right there, who's a running mate for the All Progressive Congress flag bearer, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But it got a lot of Nigerians talking. I mean, we're in political dispensation, so there will be a lot of, reactions and what have you as regards to the particular one. But for me, what stands out is the fact that if you look at the theme, the conversation, this fora would actually allow a lot of interaction. I think that it would have just been, an opportunity for those who are vying to become number 1 persons or number 1 person of the country or occupy an office would actually show up in a sense that honor the invitation, have an opportunity to interact with those who will be available. We're talking about a very learned colleagues who are gathered in the city, Lagos State right here, and not too far, but not to just give all of the publicity though, but basically that's it. The reaction has actually come from the fact that some persons say, oh, why don't you have everyone attending the conference? And the issue of, oh, I wasn't invited is ruled out of the entire conversation. But it could mean that maybe they were scheduled for other events prior to this other time. And for me, I think that if you have a representative, does it necessarily matter whether or not you have the actual flag bearer being present at that particular event?
Interesting one. A lot of reaction about this. I don't know if we have we may not have that track, but some highlights or aspects of this particular event, like you said, Mercy, the fact that you had Atiku Abubakar being there, you had Peter Obi being there as well, no Bola Tinubu, no Rabi Musa Kwankwaso. But I know that the presidential candidate of the SDP was also there as well as a former aspirant on the platform of ADC who had since resigned from the party. Kingsley Moalu was also there, or he scheduled to speak at one of the sessions. However, one of the highlights was the entrance of Obi seemed to stir some reaction from the audience. That was number one. There's a video, Mercy, a user-generated video. Someone at the venue just took that video that shows. I wish I could stand up to demonstrate it. That shows Peter Obi going on his knees, like going down, kneeling down like this to greet Atiku.
But does that even mean anything?
Can I land? And then Atiku quickly stood up, maybe as a way of maybe avoiding maybe embarrassing sin of fellow presidential greeting. Quickly stood up and lifted him up. But Obi went down. He was going down, almost touching the ground, to Atiku's knee. And Atiku stood up.
I haven't seen that.
And if you remember, Obi was Atiku's running mate in 2019.
Yes.
As a candidate, he was an aspirant, co-aspirant, competing aspirant. Sorry, he was at Atiku's unveiling, or his declaration rather. That was strange. He later, when he moved, he had moved to Labour Party and then had left the PDP. When Atiku declared he wanted president, he said, "I congratulate my leader." That raised some eyebrows. I congratulate my leader. That raised some eyebrows. So that going down, some people will say, "Oh, see, obedience should come and see. Your leader is being led by our leader." This was Atiku supporters. Your leader has been led by our leader. Now, when the event started, Kashim Shettima, who was representing what they call it, Bola Tinubu, was invited to the stage to take his seat. There was a mild applause. Atiku Abubakar was invited to take his seat on the stage. There was an increased applause, But when Peter Obi was invited to take his seat, there was a loud applause. It was quite loud. And people were shouting and all that. I wish we had that. But that was it. But Reno Mokri, who has come out, openly to show that he is a supporter of Atiku Abubakar, he made a statement. He asked some questions, which I found interesting. He asked why Shettima represented Tinubu when Tinubu's house on Budlon Road, Ikoyi, Lagos, just not far from here. Echo Hotels is just here.
Okay.
So moving from Tinubu's house to Budlon, at the time the event was going on, it would take about 19 minutes. Last time I checked on the map, it was around 1 a.m. It would take 11 minutes without traffic. With traffic, it would be like 19, 20 minutes. So he was asking why Shettima represented Tinubu when from Borno State to Echo Hotels, you have to take a plane. But from Budilon, it's 19 minutes. And so people kept asking why is he not there? But Peter Obi made a statement, or when he was giving his speech, said he intends to, he feels that whoever should be elected as the next president of Nigeria should be somebody who has a vision and who is articulated. And then some people, he used those words.
Of course.
And some people jumped on it and said, evidence. You see, he's working for Atiku. Why would he say that whoever should be the next president of Nigeria it should be somebody who is articulated. You understand? But I think maybe he was Obi supporters have come out and say he was just playing with words. He was playing with words. It would be interesting and maybe good to take some time to analyze the speeches of both people. I think for me, the most impressive take of the day was not Peter Obi, it was not Atiku Abubakar, it was actually Kashim Shettima. For me, Kofi Bartels. People have cast Kashim Shettima in the light of somebody who is not enlightened, doesn't know, that has something to offer. But he gave a very, very good speech to me. Not a very, very good speech in the sense of comparing it in terms of ideas. It was political. It was political talk. Why Tinubu should be. But it was composed well. And when someone like him is linked with terrorism and all that, you would expect that he may not be able to put the things together. But he did it well. He did it well, and he put his speech together, composed it well, gave it. And people need to, I think, he gave a good account of himself, and was able to tell people that, see, I worked in Zenith Bank for years, and this is what Jim Ovia used to say to us, and about competence, about capacity, about your results. And he said in the history of Zenith Bank of Nigeria, he doesn't think there's anybody who rose faster through the ranks of Zenith Bank through dint of hard work than himself, Kashim Shettima. But one of the things that didn't work well for Kashim Shettima was how he dressed. I personally feel that this is, people have lost the plot. He wore a canvas, a sneaker, and then wore his suit. And the people were talking about it. I look at how he's dressed. It doesn't look presidential at all. There's a lot to talk about in this, but we'll leave it at that for now. We have to take a break. When we come back, we'll look at more stories. This time we want to take a look at what's happening, what the papers are saying, rather, in Off the Press. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. Don't touch it down.